Hey guys, this is Rainwolf, and we're back with 86 for the final episode of the season.
Hey guys, Curtis Silverheart here.
And this is Austin of Silverheart.
And at first, when this thing started off, I thought we were like, did somebody like upload the wrong episode or something? Because it really seemed like we were back in the episode right before they go to military school.
Oh yeah, when they were like all trying to, figure out their place in life and everything like that, and Frederica tricked Shin into shopping.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt very much like that.
And then they open up, they get to the home, and Ernst is there, Popper, the maid.
That Rudolph face. Oh my god.
And what it makes it a little more heart-filling and actually catches Ernst by surprise after they're given their presents and start walking by him. It's like, I'm home as they pass by him. And Federica, she's in trouble.
I'm sorry, but that okay, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy. But punishing her with a mountain of math homework seems like the most Asian thing that they could have possibly done as a punishment.
Yeah, true. But, and then as it, like, this little conversation that jumps, and then it jumps back into pretty much the scenes that kind of happened, but in a different energy from them. They're not, like, in deep thought and weary on, like, where they should be. Because Andrew, you see her in the cooking class again. Then you have
Karina out clothes shopping.
Then you got Federica with Shin in the kitchen cooking. And we all know Shin's cooking's not the greatest.
Well, that's why they bought him an illustrated cookbook for Christmas. That's exactly why he got that. But I think they were almost at peace. It's almost like they've made peace now, and there's a separation in their mind between when they're on the battlefield and when they're home. Now it's not a constant, we have to live on our toes, constantly thinking about when's the next attack, are they going to come here, are we going to die? They get a chance to actually relax and have peace for once. I think they're finally making that connection and drawing the lines between those two things.
What makes it really funny is after Shin has finished making, I'm guessing French toast is what he's making right now.
Yeah, French toast.
Everybody else is there at the table. Raiden isn't. Andrew tries the French toast, drops her knife, and is in shock. Then you see her walk out to the shed where Raiden is. He's working on some things, and she gives Raiden the look of, try this.
Yeah, it's like she's chastising him for not being there to have this meal, and it's actually like amazing or something. Like you almost expected like a Food Wars moment.
It was kind of funny. Well, the funny part too, when Shin was making dinner with the French toast with Frederica, was she started blissing him down the road over the egg. He did something to one of the eggs. And she was
no, he had shells. He had shells in them.
He had shells in them, and he hadn't beaten them yet.
I think it's even more funny with I don't know if anybody else got this kind of vibe, even though there's not really the pairing between the two. The angry wife walking out, it's like, why aren't you in the house? Try this.
But I will say, like, Theo with colored pencils, the art doesn't seem to hit the same.
It's now he's going to more I'm guessing a perspective, or like changing now that he has a new look on life. Now there's actually, and obviously when it comes to the art, the more color there is, that's obviously a more cheerous moment than near.
Oh, obviously, but I mean, like, it kind of felt to me like it wasn't as realistic and detailed as his previous sketches were. Like when you see him out at the park bench, sketching like the buildings and the tree lines and stuff like that. I think this is him actually starting to be more imaginative and branch out into his dreams and thoughts and hopes. So he's not as refined in his technique. It's still very impressive, but it doesn't seem as crisp and defined as his pencil sketches.
It's very much, I think this is it's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be the semblance of that. The symbolism, of, it was very dark and gritty when it was the black and white, and now it's a little bit more hopeful and a little bit more bright. So it changes. So that's why it hits a bit different. It's also personal perspective on it too. Some people just prefer the black and white. It's no less impressive. But I think it does. It's like you said. It's kind of like he's reaching out into other aspects, opposed to having just to show this very dark, bleak world. So.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the new unit that's being formed as they're having sit down with everybody in the living room by the looks of it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, and then you have a foreign commander." Theo has the tablet with what's it's like, and they all lean over. He scrolls up. They're like, "Okay, I'm okay with this."
Well, and I'm pretty certain, even though it wasn't said out loud, it was kind of insinuated.
Who else is going to be the forward?
Well, I think
Yeah.
I believe they told him too. They told the president. They were like, "Dude, we know who it is. It's this person. We know them." It wasn't because there was a moment where you saw them talking, but you couldn't hear what they were saying, but you saw his face, and it was very much,
The perspective they gave us.
yeah.
As they're okay with everything, it jumps over to Ernst and two of his officers.
Full haircut douchebag.
Yeah.
And eye patch.
Yeah.
But I do like how this conversation had a different tone shift to it. Now they've actually really come to respect the 86 and what they've accomplished. And now they're saying, this is the best idea. We're surprised that you're so eager to go with it again. And he's like, look, it's what they want to do. So screw it. I'm not going to hold them back anymore.
Yeah. And he already kind of had an obvious clue with how things went out on the battlefield when when Shin was saved. It's like, they'll probably agree with this no matter. Before he brought it up to his officers, he even said that he asked them beforehand, and he has that smile look of after he says all this, like, I think I'm good.
That's the proud papa look.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that look. That's a proud papa look.
And what comes after that? Shin is at a flower shop. He buys, and they're the white flowers that we all know and we've seen before.
It's the lilies.
And it goes to Eugene's grave. And I'm kind of glad they gave this closure between Eugene's pilot partner and the sister.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have anything else to say about this part? It left me kind of speechless.
Yeah, I think I almost missed on some of the dialogue in the subs because I was a little too teared up during most of the scene. I'm not gonna lie, it was very, very heartfelt and touching. Like the fact that his former partner flat out says, look, I'm the one that turned around and put all the blame on you. He's like, he basically admits that, I'm the reason why everyone effing hates you because of what's happened. And I'm the one that was making Nino write those letters.
And after that whole thing is explained between the two, Shin starts walking away, and the little sister starts walks past him, actually.
And like she doesn't even recognize him. Like that was the interesting part.
Well, with the hate probably blinded her, and
yeah,
I don't think she ever really hated him though. I think where he forced her to write those letters and he did try to implant things into her mind. I also don't think it's been a year and she is a very young child, and children really don't necessarily have the best memories of people sometimes. And she would probably also be like, well, why would he be here? Anyway, so I think that was part of it. It just totally, it's a possibility she didn't recognize him, that she
I can kind of see that. I also kind of see it in the idea of just it has distracted. Been a year and how she processes her grief.
Yeah, she was distracted by she was more concerned about I have a mission. I have to take these flowers to my brother's grave, and I'm not paying attention to the people that are around me.
And it's funny what kind of changes her. Like it looks like she already had like a forgiveness to begin with, but when she lifted the envelope that Shin had left with the photo, or not even envelope, just a photo facing away from her of Eugene and him, it brought a smile to her face, and she knew that. Seeing that image and seeing her brother in that manner, it was like, it wasn't his fault. It's a battlefield. there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And now we jump over to Theo. He's drawing the new logos on the units. And they kind of bring up a very good point of, are you sure you want to keep it as the Reaper? And I see where they're coming from on this, but he's still the Reaper, but in a different light. Now he's the Reaper of the Legion and not of his allies.
Yeah, this is the point when he realized, this whole montage that he goes through with all this, he flat out calls it out. He's like, look, I'm not going to forget you. I still have my duty and my love for everyone that's come before him and all of his fallen comrades and things. But now he has a purpose other than just carrying on their memory.
Finishing them off so the Legion doesn't take them. And it's glad to see that he finally leaves his brother's peace with the others.
That scene, that was huge. Mm-hmm. This was huge because this means he is finally letting go of all those memories. He is finally letting go of his brother and the ghost that's been haunting him since episode 1 of the series. And he's, again, like I said, he's not going to forget. He will remember his brother and all of his former comrades forever, but he has something and someone to fight for now. He's going to protect the rest of his group. He's going to protect Lena. He's going to do everything that he can. He has purpose. He has life.
And it's very funny on where they stop and they salute, and then it pops over to the title card, Handler 1, and then it pops over to Lena. And when it pops over first to Lena, and when it shows the cat bowl, I'm like, oh no, please don't tell me the cat's dead.
I said the same thing. Like, my heart sank. I was like, those Legion killed my fucking cat.
And we see the hellstorm in just little clips that had happened. And the pieces, and she pulls from her board like Shin had for his pieces and drops the ones that had fallen into the box. She grabs the box. Well, before picking up the box, she looks over and it's like, has a, would you call it? It's a not forgiveness. I don't know.
Like
remorse?
A memory box? Is that what you're trying to think of? Or?
Well, no, just when she looks over to the poster board that still has Shin and the rest on it, and obviously Cyclops, of her, pretty much anyone that was her original unit before the whole attack happened, and then looking to her family photo.
So, I personally kind of feel like this is that moment when she still doesn't know if they're dead or alive, really.
Yeah.
So this is her being like, okay, I have Cyclops and the rest of this unit that, she's grown attached to and she's come to adore and respect and everything. She has a rapport with them, but she still doesn't know if she's ever really going to get to the point where she can catch up to the others or if there's anybody left to catch up to.
Mm-hmm.
That realization has not been made apparent, which we get further evidence of here in just a few minutes when she has the meeting with bowl hair and a bunch of the names are redacted on her staff list.
Yeah, because they don't want her to know. Well, because they get they don't know that she's also a Sangmanolian, so they don't want on what factors would change her thought process, but they know she's different than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
What really ticks me off though is the commander or her captain when he's talking to her is like, oh, we need a volunteer, blah blah blah.
Yeah, you volunteered to lead the troops for the reclamation up north, right? And she was like, yeah. He's like, I knew it. You're gonna do great. Get the hell out of here and go do some shit. Can we just dial back for a quick second? She found the cat. Oh. The cat did not die. She found the cat. As she's walking through the streets, I guess on the way to this meeting, she finds the cat and she takes the cat to the meeting with her. And her commander is just like, is that yours? Yep. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. And the cat was having none of it. The cat wanted nothing.
That cat was getting ready to alt his eyes out.
But that cat was done with his shit. Like, I love that cat.
That cat wasn't having it. You could feel the energy and the tone he was giving with Lena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was trying to be all peppy and cheery and it's like, "Oh, you're amazing, you're great, you're this, you're that," and blah 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 blah. And that cat was like, "You are full of shit, man.
You're a kiss ass.
Yeah, you're just trying to you're just doing this in front of other people to try to make it look good and try to make yourself look good."
And then we pop over to now we know she's a friend and not an enemy. Her best friend and her are back together.
Annette.
Well, they had hinted at that not too. I mean, they were kind of cold and standoffish for a little bit, but toward the last of the first season, toward the end, it was kind of hinting at that they were getting back together as friends. You know, she had offered her dessert again, and it was kind of getting back to that point.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you gotten into a massive argument with one of your closest friends? I mean, hell, I know me personally, I've gotten into almost fist fights with a best friend or so before, and we give it a little bit of time, we go about our thing, we keep doing what we have to do, and we patch things up and move on.
What? Okay. Did anybody else think Lita was a lot older in this scene with her hair punched up like she was?
A little bit, maybe.
But it's funny how during this conversation with Annette, when she's looking through the parade that she was given from the Federation, and she's looking, it's like, wait, this is our technology.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is when Lena finally starts to put two and two together. She was just like, why the hell do they have parade technology for their synchronization comms?
Because Annette noticed it. She knew that technology because that's her that's her father's technology.
Her father's, yep.
That's what she knows. She's trained on this her whole life. And she was like, how the hell did they get this? And then that's, like you said, Lena and her both were putting stuff together. And she was like, unless they had an 86 there, unless there's been 86 that made it. And then Lena asked her, she was like, why do you even have that? And she was like, well, I got it from them. She's going to the Federation too.
It's like you're not leaving me behind.
Because they have offered the people of San Magnolia, if they wanted to come live in the the Federacy, that they could. I feel like there's still some that are hesitant because of their bias and their racial qualms about everything and the way they treat people, because there is a scene in the breadline when they're criticizing the people who have came to help them and calling them names and treating them badly.
The thing is, it's the older generation too.
It is. It appeared to be the older people and you cut back because when you go forward to this scene and Lena and her are talking, they mentioned there's a lot of people coming, and you see it looks like the younger people are all signing up and look like they're ready to go and they want to go to the Federacy and live a different life.
I think the ones that are really coming are the ones that are obviously with Lena that we saw earlier in the season.
Well, those are the 86. That's a completely different thing. Yeah, if I was
no,
let's be honest, if I was 86, I would go.
No, because remember in the beginning when we see her, she has a few San Magnolians.
You're talking about the actual San Magnolian subordinates that she was colluding with.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
The ones that Carl Stahl tried to call her out on.
Yeah, that's to be expected though. They are coming, of course, and then like the people who've survived that want to start a new life, that want to, and they all appear to be another generation. They're younger.
After all of it, it's also entertaining to see her walking through town, and then you see some of the other residents drawing on this board. She has a smile, and she also says, "Uncle, give me a little more time," because remember he said that your dream was going to happen.
Yeah, he gave her that giant speech of, I'll buy you some time, but just remember that no matter what you do, your dream is going to be shattered by the reality of the situation. And right now, her dream is coming to fruition because, granted, San Magnolia fell, but now people are starting to come together. Yeah, there's dissonance and biased and racism and stuff still, but the majority of those that are going to make the changes that need to come are banded together. And now they're working with the Federation to make those changes happen. And we see San Magnolians and 86 that are still in San Magnolia's Sector 1 drawing on the board, and it's, and they're recoloring it, and they're beautifying it, they're kidifying it in a degree, drawing like little teddy bears and happy kids and things like that. But if you stop and look at the words, it says welcome to the true San Magnolia.
And and the scene that comes after that just gives me, well, not directly after it, but a little bit after, is when you start seeing the title credits and Lena walks into Ernest's office. She has that, and he's like, let's not waste any time. He grabs her luggage, walks back to the elevator, and she just has that grit of like despise.
Yeah, she's like, I just got here and you're immediately running me off somewhere. He makes the comment, there's a place I want to show you, and she's still holding the memorial box that she has.
And what really gets the chills is like when that happens, and then we start just seeing the new logos transitioning through, and then it pops her right in front of Fido's old body. And
yeah, she's at the actual 86 memorial,
and she sees all the names on that the black stone.
And I gotta say, I'm gonna go back to the direction, the animation, the cinematography, the layout, the timeline, however you want to say it, the storyboarding of it. But I was paying a little bit more attention to the date stamps in this episode, and they did an even more amazing job of mirroring the events between what I have to say Act 1 and Act 2 of this episode, because it starts off with, okay, Shin and the rest of the crew, they get home and see Ernst and Frederica and all of them on Christmas Eve, December 24th of 2149. When you go to Act 2, it starts off 2 days later on the 26th is when Lena goes back to her old room. And then you have the meeting around early March, like early to mid-March, with Ernst and his commanding officers and things like that for the Federation. And then transitions in Act 2, you see the other half of that when they're meeting with Lena, again around March 12th. And then now, when Shin and the 86 in Act 1 were visiting the memorial and saluting, it was on March 20th. Well, as soon as you see Lena standing in front of the memorial and with her own memorial box, just like what Shin was carrying, guess what day it is? It's March 20th, 2150, the same day the 86 were there. And it was at this moment that I immediately had an anxiety attack. Because, as I told Asuna, this was what I had been waiting for 6 to 8 months.
I think a number of us have been waiting for this.
This scene. But
well, you have to remember he read the book.
For me, it's because I was reading the light novel.
That's right.
And
so he knew it was coming.
There was one line. I was like, if you do not end this episode with this line, especially after naming it what you named this episode, I will lose my shit.
And when Lena gets up and she, from setting the box down and walking away out, we get the whole transition from the scene where it's the past of everybody, then you get the back of Shin and the rest's heads of like how they were leaving. It's like, and eventually I will catch up. And I kind of love how they did this introduction type deal, how they put it in Fido's perspective.
Yes, because again, that was another one of those moments, and the way they framed this, it made my anxiety even worse, because I was like, okay, are you going to keep it to the way the light novel ended? Are you going to keep it the way the light novel I was reading ended in this segment? Because when season 1 was ending its nearing, we had the Fido memories and the playbacks, and we got to end that with Shin telling Fido to stay there, and we saw him explode because of the battle.
Oh, so sad.
And I was like, oh my god, please do not do this to me again. I can't fucking take it.
I can't handle another dead Fido.
I was like, please, please, please keep this to what you had established in the light novel. Don't flip the script on me.
And I love the words that are said between each other right before they... And the way Raid is just playing with his little calic or whatever you want to call it.
The Superman curl. Or the Gohan curl.
Yes. That fits more better. And then we also get some little flashbacks, and then we get Andrew. It's like, they say there's a black cat with her. It's like, and Andrew just has that smirk across her face.
Yeah,
If
well,
only it
Andrew
were-
at first said, "Wouldn't it's so sad? I wish
If
it was. I wish
if
it was.
only it were Kitty.
If it only,
Mhm.
yeah."
And then when it goes over to Theo and his art, and now then his current art is Kurt.
Karina whooping that ass. Oh my god.
No, what's really funny is like when you see Lena on the pig, and then you see Shin next to her. Let's go, and then the whole Shin and Lena. Yeah, Karina then goes after. It's like, no, that won't happen to Shin. It's like, no, 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 like that. I'm like, Karina, I'm sorry, you lost. You lost, sister.
She tries to say she won. She was like, he sees me as a little sister though, but yeah, I won.
Yeah, I've known him longer. He sees me as a sister. I won. I'm like, girl,
That's
you're
not how you
deluded.
win. Yeah, that's not how you win,
Like, just keep telling yourself that, sister.
babe.
And
Okay,
then we-
so personally, one of my favorite little
Ernest.
gag moments. No, one of my personal favorite gag moments out of this is Bull Hair Commander.
Bowl haircut.
Oh,
You have bowl
yeah.
haircut, right?
I love Bull Hair Commander in this moment because he's trying to talk to Fido and he's going boop beep boop beep beep boop beep 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 boop beep beep boop beep boop, and Gress is just looking at him like he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Fido was answering him though, so I'm
know,
wondering,
that
do
was
you
the best
really
part.
speak Beep Boop Robot, or are
Mhm.
you just
That was the
messing
best
with
part.
Fido? Like Fido's just like, okay, you want to talk to me? I'll talk.
And we got Ernest doing his little picture frame deal. And then we got Federica running. I was like, I'll surprise him too. And Fido was like, nope, come here.
Nope. Nope. That claw comes out and goes boop and picks her up like a chess pawn.
And then we get the whole group of them walking forward. It's like, will she recognize us? It's like, I hope she does.
And this was the moment I realized they weren't going to flip the script because this line is straight out of the light novel.
And then we see Lena walking forward with Ernst, I think. Yeah. It's like, now let me introduce you to your new team. Right? And Lena's like, right now? Yes. Hey. And then they're have their little conversation at a little distance. It's like, is that her? It's like, you got that. I was like, what? Then they salute. And the way Shin goes about. Okay, did anyone else see the little speckle with Fido once it panned back from Shin and Lena saluting to each other?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Fido was crying.
Yep.
No.
Fido's, I mean, we see it in
Can't help
through the montage here. Fido has the memory database. He has been along with them this entire ride, predominantly. So he's seen them go through all this stuff.
He's seen the relationships. He's seen everybody. If Fido is a robot that has like a sentient understanding and emotions, like he's the best boy. Like he is the best robot. So sweet.
And I love it when after Lena introduces herself when her salute, it's like, nice meeting you for the first time. Shin is like, this isn't the first time we've met.
Mm-hmm. He's like, we've seen you, but this is the first time you've seen us. And it pans over to the other four, and they are saluting. Theo is like covering his, like everybody's like covering his eyes.
Raiden's about
hand is fucking shaking because he's like, I don't know if he wants to cry because of the intensity of the moment, or if
I
he's
don't know
trying to
if he was-
stifle his laughter.
I don't know if he was, try not to laugh. He was gonna cry. He was just excited. I don't know either.
No, Raiden was about to lose his shit. Raiden was not, out of everybody there, Raiden
He was gonna just start laughing. Yeah.
And the line that comes, it's been a long time, Handler 1.
And that's the moment, like, I practically jumped out of my chair. I threw my arms in the air. I said, 8 fucking months worth it.
Because that's taken directly from the novel, isn't it?
It is directly from the light novel. As a matter of fact, I have the light novel pulled up right here. And my heart just fucking exploded out of my chest.
And he's going through his whole, and then he's like, oh yeah, the former combat commander of Spearhead Squadron, Shin Nozin. And Lena, it's like at first she's like, wait, no, this can't be. And then after that whole sentence, she just bawls. She loses it. And when she lets go of the papers of their drawings of each other, flies into the air. It's just beautiful. And the look that Shin is actually giving her during this,
that's the first time he's like kind of had a smile. Like it was he was a little teary eyed, but he had a smile that wasn't creepy. Usually when he smiles, that's a bad omen, and it's usually a creepy smile because something's about to go down. This was not it was a very peaceful smile. It was a very sweet smile this time.
And then also after all this, Tappy, or well, I think that's what the cat's name is.
Teppy.
Teppy jumps out of the bag. Fido.
It depends on who you ask.
True.
Because as the cat jumps out of the bag, hold on a second, I have it right here. You get Kitty, Machiavelli, White, Black. They're all calling him by the individual names that they had given him.
Mm-hmm. And the first thing Shin does as Fido jumps forward, puts his arm out right in front of Lena, and there's that whole blushy moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole, now it just starts panning between each person. It's like, Raiden. Because he makes the comment of like, I knew you were a loser. And then Theo pulls up, he picked up the drawings of, was like, is this us? Theo! Thank you for the cat from Andrew and
like as we're discussing this, I'm rewatching the scenes, and it's right back to the feels, man. But I will say, 99% of people say that the book did it better. No, as somebody who has read the light novel, this scene and this scene alone in '86 is one of the best adaptations and revamps I have ever seen compared to the original print work. This scene was way better in the anime.
It gives it more expressive actions, the way they presented everything, the emotion, even for the voice acting. It put it there, and then as they're all standing there, Lena is like, "I finally caught up." Shin is like, "Yes, you have." And I don't like how this, like, the final capture, like, of the before we're going into that, the whole shadow situation with the hands.
Holding the hands.
Well, they didn't quite make it to the hand, but it was insinuated they were going to hold the hand. It was.
I will
sweet.
say so one difference is in the light novel, it actually calls it out. They are holding hands. She actually holds hands with him.
But the animators, they're like, nah, we're just gonna leave this right.
Yeah, cock tease it like crazy, baby.
And the way they close it, like fully close the episode for the season, is the picture we won't forget at the top. It leaves it in a very moment of that there's not going to be another season.
And there might not be, because technically this wasn't. Oh, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say this is actually in my definition the perfect ending, because this is what we wanted from episode 1 of season 1. Was them to get together. Now, do we want to see them team up and whoop some ass? Oh, hell yes, we do. But if this is where they end up leaving the anime, I am perfectly happy. Are there several other light novels that they could actually adapt from? If I'm not mistaken, there are.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, I don't know if anybody ever watched Bones. They kind of pulled one of those a Bones moment. It's the only other thing I can kind of compare it to.
I can see that.
Because I don't know if you saw the original, like the way they ended it, but they left it open.
Uh-huh.
So that's the only other explanation, because I don't know too many series that do a phenomenal job of closing but also leaving it open.
Yeah, this, again, perfect way to end it. Perfect way to end it. Perfect adaptation and reimagining of the original print work from the light novel, and the fact of that we know that there are more Legion out there. There are obviously other shepherds, other command units. There's still no face that we, could track down and deal with, the central intelligence of the Legion. But if they left it here, I'd be perfectly content. If they decide, if 6-8 months from now we get a notice on the internet from the studio saying, "Hey, 86 season 3 coming your way," I'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, let's start recording again. Let's do this." I can't wait.
I agree. And leaving it, any final thoughts for this episode or the season? I have this creepy, weird feeling. I don't know what it is, that No Face might be Ernst.
Really?
It's not. I don't have too much to go on it, but the way he reacts, like when it comes to Shin and them going out in the battlefield to begin with, and the way he reacts with the rest of his unit when they were trying to sacrifice them and stuff like that. It just gives me a weird. There may be he may not be, but it just has that weird I don't know. It just gives off that weird vibe for me.
That's an interesting take on it. I mean,
I'm gonna not say anything. I just looked at something on the wiki.
That you shouldn't have.
Yep.
God damn it, Kirito. What are we gonna do with you?
Yeah, I did it again. Sorry, guys.
Well, that's the last I have to say for 86 for the time being. As of right now, I don't. We'll pick up something. We're not. I think we have a gist on what we're picking up, but we're not exactly sure yet.
In my defense, real quick, it is not confirmed. It is an assumption or a potential assumption.
So, until next time, this is Rainwolf.
This is Kirito Silverheart.
this is Asuna Silverheart.
Leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe, and just a reminder to all, this Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, me, Grizzly Tyrant, Unspoken Fur 5, will be playing Tiny Tina Wonderland, 24-hour stream. Later.
Bye.
Bye.